Hey Internet, it's Andrew with the Knights of the Drunk Watch, and we're here to discuss The Haunting of Bly Manor, Episode 5, The Altar of the Dead. So we are the Knights of the Drunk Watch, and now our talk begins. The big overarching thing is the idea that we learn, because by the end we learn when Hannah dies, how ghosts can relive their memories.
Seems to be all they can do.
I mean, other ghosts are there in the present.
Oh, okay, yeah, I guess, yeah, you're right. But it seems to be that all ghosts will get kind of like one turn through the rinse cycle every now and then, and they have to, start over.
It seemed to me that part of the issue, once we kind of figured out what was going on, because you don't know to the end of the episode really what's going on and how fresh Hannah is as a ghost. Because it seemed to me initially it almost looked like she was at the campfire and then she got distracted like she's been doing, and she went back, and it seemed pretty linear for like 3 or 4 moments, and then not only did it become secular as she came back to her kind of hallmark moment with Owen, I guess.
Yeah,
where it wasn't really Owen, it was her inner self trying to teach her what's happening. Then it started kind of jumping more at random.
Yeah, it kept jumping through the timeline.
She started panicking and she lost control of the times and places she was winding up.
It doesn't sound like anyone is ever able to control their time jumps though, and maybe that's getting ahead, but people seem to get pulled and stuck and
well, we talked about we didn't trust Hannah. I think I suspected everybody down to the gardener and the kids. They were all dead for one point. We know that's not right, but we've now confirmed Hannah hasn't been there for the whole time Danny's been there, technically in the vital living sense, but she's around so much because she's kind of a dangerous incarnation, if you will. She's a ghost who doesn't know she's a ghost for up until this point, up until this episode. And she still has her mission, which we've seen through flashbacks, to watch over the kids. They're good kids. They don't have anybody to care for them now. So even if she did realize she was a ghost, I wouldn't think she would abandon them if she had the choice.
Throughout this whole episode, ghosts, we know that ghosts can be seen, but also can they not be seen sometimes, because we've seen Peter Quint kind of come and go. Also, they can be corporeal but not corporeal. We see that with Hannah all the time, can interact with everything. She can mop, but we also see, and the Lady of the Lake can throttle, strangle, kill Peter Quint, but then he can't hold a doll afterwards, so it falls through his hand. So there's a lot of I think maybe uncertainty in the ghost rules of the house, and or maybe you have to learn how to work them.
I feel like we're going with Patrick Swayze ghost rules. Once the emotions are there and the feeling is behind it. I don't want to get to ghosts, but they can't touch things unless they use their feelings like a Jedi. They have to.
It's about energy
or touch with their feelings.
It's about their energy. They have to focus.
So the only thing I was going to say is this whole episode seemed to me, without spoiling anything, like it was the setup episode for what's coming next. It explained the rules to us so that we could either deviate or resolve them. That's all.
Okay, so another thing that seemed important, though, that I think we've only really seen it from Hannah, but not only was Hannah reliving memories that gave us more recent history, both with Rebecca and Peter and the parents and the kids, but then Hannah actually went into other ghosts' memories, because she went into Rebecca's memories the last night she was with Peter, which was immediately followed by her, since Rebecca wasn't there, she then went into Peter's memory of Peter's death, because Hannah was not present for either one of those.
Yes. Good
She was
point.
not a witness.
That's true.
Yeah.
He did not watch Peter and Rebecca having sex as he promised to come back and get her, and he did not see him get killed by the lady in the lake. Also added to partly to Hannah's confusion, I think, because she didn't, first, it was like she was reliving her own moments, and then all of a sudden she was witnessing that were new to her past moments. And then finally, we do learn that even though I don't think he went with him to school, I still say everything Miles did at school, Miles did.
Yeah.
Correct.
To get the result he needed. But he was immediately possessed by Peter Quint.
Mhm.
At least in the, not full possession, but in the way that they can come in and out, to a certain extent. So
and then that is also like emotion based, because Peter Quint did not intend to possess Miles the first time, but he was so emotionally invested. Now I can't even remember what the moment was, but he was so emotionally invested in trying to interact with the moment that he warped into Peter to do it, or to Miles to do it.
Mhm.
So, I mean, but that's true of all like superpowers. People discover them first when they're angry, and then they learn how to hone them.
we discover what the crack is about.
Mm-hmm.
The crack is the bottom of the well.
Crack kills.
And I mean, it's hard to say this without maybe telegraphing, but do we feel Hannah fully understands what's happened yet at the end of this episode? Never really sure.
Well,
No.
because she even like doesn't get why she's stuck, but she's going along with it, because this is I think it was in this episode where she explains her clothes, and it was a throwaway line, but she basically says, I get up every day, I imagine a new shirt, and then I go to work. Like she just like keeps creating new things because she can, I guess, decide how she appears.
Mhm.
So that's another ghost rule. They decide their appearance.
One thing that was strange to me in terms of the ghost laws, etc., and we were introduced in this episode to it, is that ghosts sleep. There is a sense of restfulness in this repetitive limbo type world that they live in.
That is true. Because technically you could almost look at her interactions with Owen, how they keep coming back to the interview in the kitchen, is her always remembering something new about something that's going on in her ghost conscious.
Yeah, I just said there was at one point that in that interview, Owen I think says, I am you. So
Yeah.
it's not, I mean, because I think it feels like it's the ghost consciousness trying to bring her up to speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's sweet that he is her constant baby, like a basically
Her touchstone.
That's where she goes to every time she needs to restart the loop. She restarts it with him.
And I feel like we got indication, I haven't seen anything in the further episodes to change this, that the gardener and Owen are alive because they left, right? That's the
until
indication
we find out in later episodes. Yes.
This episode, I was looking for, wait, how is Owen a ghost if he keeps doing that? I was a little confused, but yeah, by the end, I determined, all right, he's safe, and it was all in Hannah's mind because I believe she said that.
The only thing I was gonna say, that moment where Hannah got pushed over by Miles Peter, and
Miles,
she was looking down into the well at her, Miles, when she was looking down at her own body down at the well as Danny came in. That's her name, right? Danny,
yeah.
That for me was like and I don't want to away anything from last season, but that was the bent neck lady moment for me in this season.
Where they
like
bring
that
it
was the moment that I was like,
like,
oh shit.
I think
that's what was happening in that moment.
Yeah, I think it's always good when it's a very well done, like did that for us for Hannah, of like, oh, we get it. She had just fucking died. Seeing her own body, and then she was like, hello, Miss New.
Right, and she didn't have a chance to
Caretaker.
process that yet before she had to deal with Danny. So
Yeah. Woof.
Well, and also if Danny had walked in literally like 2 seconds later, she'd have seen a murder.
Yeah.
All right, so
Okay.
that's the altar of the dead. So We are the Knights of the Drunk Watch.
And
now
this
our
talk
talk has ended.
Damn it.